Thanks everyone for taking time out of your schedule to join me today. This webinar is going to be rather full. It's going to cover a lot of what we've done over the last year, so hang with me. It's a lot of information to share. But because this is the last webinar of the year, I wanted to make sure you understood what a great year it's been. We'll cover all the particulars in a moment, but first I want to thank each and every one of you for all the hard work you've put in to make this past year a success for our Air Force. It's been a year of tremendous growth for us here in SAF PA too, and I appreciate how you've approached the increased workload with a can-do attitude that not only got the mission done, but got it done with style. It's also award season, which means it's time to recognize all your accomplishments with award packages. We just sent out the 2015 Air Force Media Contest SOP, so you should be gathering your products from the past year to enter into that contest. We also sent guidance out in October for the 2015 Air Force Public Affairs Awards for Communication Excellence, so we're expecting packages from you for those categories too. Having seen some of your work when I visited, I know we have exceptional talent out there, so let's take time to highlight everyone involved. We're also putting together packages here at the HAF on various topics to submit for the PRSA Silver Anvil Awards, so please support if members of the staff here reach out to you for inputs. As you well know, executing the deliberate plans over the last year often required all of you to participate. It's definitely been a year of teaming, and we expect everyone to be recognized for their efforts. I hope you can all appreciate what great work is being done across our Air Force in our communication enterprise. Now, given the amount of work we've done, I think it's time now that we just take a breather and enjoy the holidays. Take time, like I said, to take a breather and reconnect with your family and friends. If you travel, please be safe and be smart. No 20-hour straight drives to grandma's house. Also, the holidays can also be a challenging time for some folks. So make sure you're looking each other in the eyes, really listening to how people are doing, and ensuring everyone's doing okay. When you ask the obligatory question, "How are you today?" actually physically stop and wait for their response. If you doubt the sincerity of that response, call them on it. Dig a little deeper. You may just be the one person who cared enough to make a difference that day. All right, so with that, let's take a look at what's been going on here with PA recently. I'm going to run down through of the divisions, so hang with me. There's a lot of information. Make sure you're up on your coffee, you have your chai tea, whatever it is you do, and you can just put it on audio if you want, but pay attention because there's been a lot that's been accomplished. So for PA Outreach, our FY16-17 engagement plan has finally been signed by OSD PA. We're currently finalizing with Air Force Implementation Guidance, and the PAY team is working with OSD to clarify some of the points. Primarily, those points will be to change the conversation regarding flyovers. The idea is to go back to disassociating any extra costs with flyovers, since they are funded by already allotted flying hours. If OSD buys in, it will likely take flying hour costs out of the engagement plan and will lower the overall total of the Air Force portion of the engagement plan. We expect to have this resolution shortly. For PAY think tank engagements at the MAJCOM level, we consistently hear from our most senior leadership that our fundamental messaging doesn't seem to get to all audiences. One simple proactive way for our leaders to plant Air Force messaging is through think tank engagements. Now, a think tank engagement is an open and candid conversation between Air Force leaders and a person or group who can help shape public opinion and national security policy. By conducting regular think tank engagements, Air Force leaders can ensure these opinion shapers have a strategic level understanding of key Air Force issues and can cultivate relationships to ensure trusted, candid feedback. At the Air Force level, we regularly conduct these types of engagements with the Secretary of the Air Force, our Headquarters Air Force 2 letters, Guard and Reserve leadership, and of course the MAJCOM commanders. Please let SAF PAY folks know in advance if your MAJCOM or wing commanders are traveling to the Washington, D.C. area, and we can help facilitate these engagements for you. And please, I'm hearing from many wing commanders that they're simply unaware of this opportunity. When I see them in the hallway, I'll stop and they'll say, "Hey, I'm going to the Hill." And I'll say, "Hey, have we set up an engagement for you?" And they will be uninformed. So be sure that you're talking with your leadership about this opportunity. Also, if you've worked directly with a think tank for an engagement with one of your Air Force leaders, please make sure our team in SAF PAY is aware as well. in advance so that they can ensure the necessary outreach and coordination is done at the staff level. We're also here to help you, and we want to be able to further your message. And if you just let us know a little bit ahead of time, we can help. This is a perfect engagement to track on our CTO, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, shifting to PAR requirements development. So we have the PA Reorg Manpower Study. By now, I hope you all are very much aware that the PA career field is coordinating a program action directive that will rebalance assets across host wing PA offices and set us up for the Manpower Study slated to begin in mid-2016. These efforts are vital to validating the importance of the PA career field to the overall Air Force mission, ensuring we have the appropriate resources to execute our mission in the future. If we're ever to have something close to the authorizations we need to do our jobs, as we're defining them today and into the future, then we will all absolutely need to get the Manpower Study right. For example, I know we picked up an entirely new mission with social media, and unlike the ops community, we did not get any additional manpower to support that new mission. Documenting to detail is the only way we'll come close to arguing for the manpower we need. So please, I ask all of you to support this Manpower Study when asked. Moving to AFI 35101, that AFI has gone through a significant rewrite to incorporate many of the items you may have already heard about, such as the new standardized wing structure. Additionally, we've added more information to the AFI to help you accomplish your mission, including a policy letter template to outline the capabilities PA teams provide to organizations, and how items and events that require PA capabilities are prioritized. The AFI is with me right now. I hope to get that done as soon as possible. All right, Air Force Inspection System. I know many of you are waiting for this one. In future updates to the Air Force Inspection System, mandatory inspection items for the PA career field will drop by 33%. Let me say that again. Mandatory items for the PA career field will drop by 33%. And management internal control toolset communicator items by 60%. We're really trying to bring this down, and really, as for the Air Force level, we really just want to measure what is absolutely required. Reducing mandatory inspection and MIC-T items means you'll spend less time telling us how you meet requirements and more time focusing on your airmen and the mission. And on the training front, SAF PA purchased 500 licenses to use lynda.com, an online training resource with more than 4,000 courses, and distributed the licenses to the MAJCOMs to allocate this past summer. Now, we've seen hundreds of airmen using these accounts for courses such as Pro Video Tips, Photoshop Fundamentals, Leadership Fundamentals, and more. However, we have noticed a decline in the usage over the past few months. Please take advantage of this resource so our airmen can get the most out of this training. And I will tell you, in the new year, I'm going to ask for another look. We have to decide whether we're going to take the next budget year and put money to it. If we continue to see the decline in the usage of lynda.com, one, we have to understand first why, and what is it that we're not giving you that you think you need, or that it's not helpful. If it's not helpful, we'll take a look and maybe reduce the number of licenses and change the contract, or not take the next option year. But I really think it's a great program, and I would like you to take time to invest in the training of the total Air Force career public affairs. Okay, now let's talk about deployments, a topic near and dear to all of us. While the number of deployment requirements has not substantially changed, the limited number of active duty airmen available to deploy in the officer and senior enlisted grades makes filling these positions a constant challenge. By working to reduce the number of Air Force Public Affairs deployment taskings and leveraging the support of the Reserve and Guard, SAF-PAR Force Management will continue to pursue relief for the career field. As a reminder, recently returned deployers, regardless of rank, must submit an AAR to SAF-PAR through their MAJCOM FAM per AFI 35111. What I'm saying is you must submit an after-action report to our resources division here through your MAJCOM FAM per AFI 35111 for those who want to read. Okay, among other reasons, we want to know what kind of experience you had and where we find that there are locations where you're not being used in an appropriate or complete manner, we can engage. In other words, when we deploy you, We want to make sure that you're going and you're doing public affairs work. Without that after action report, we will not know when we need to engage and where we need to make changes. So thank you for doing that. Okay, Professional Development Seminar. I am thrilled and excited to announce that I've asked SAF to begin making plans for a Professional Development Seminar, the first since 2011. And we're going to hold it hopefully in the late summer in 2016 near Washington, D.C. Typical attendees include Wing PA chiefs or superintendents, NAF and MAJCOM PA directors, and senior enlisted leaders, SAF PA personnel, AFPA representatives, FOA PAs, Air Force PAs, serving in joint positions, and more. Please allocate portions of your budget now to plan for attendance. Further details and guidance will be distributed well before the seminar. Please take advantage of this training and networking opportunity. So many of you have said for the last few years that we've missed gathering like that, and truly we have. Our business is about relationships, and we absolutely need to come together, so I'm very excited about getting this on the books. All right, we're going to switch to AFPA now. The headquarters AFPA spent much of 2015 planning, preparing, and relocating from its facility at Lackland to make room for the bed down of the new headquarters Air Force Installation Mission Support Center. AFPA is now in Building 581 at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph. The move was a lot of work, but it went smoothly, and the headquarters was only missioned down for 1 week. The agency is proud to be in its new home on historic Randolph. When you're there, make sure you swing by and say hi. Throughout the move prep, their mission continued. They continued developing new public affairs photojournalist and broadcaster 5 and 7 level career development courses with an expected completion in the spring of 2016. The Air Force Public Web is overseeing the DoD and Air Force regulatory and bylaw requirements for more than 350 Air Force public websites and managing the Air Force-wide website migration from an older web format to a more efficient content management system. There are currently 35 websites operating on the new AFPIMS 5.0. Air Force Trademark and Licensing is managing 205 active trademark licenses and has received nearly $933,000 in trademark licensing fees as of the end of FY15. Total funds transferred to an MWR activity this year by law was $370.6 thousand. The agency standardized and purchased $3.9 million in equipment for global PA, combat camera, and video production units, and worked $3.25 million in contracts. Volume purchasing saved the Air Force $712,000. Well done, AFPA. And finally, the Air Force social media mission was successfully transferred by AFPA to SAF PAI a few months ago. We now have a critical communication enterprise component inside the Beltway where it belongs and integrated into our deliberate planning process. I'm excited to see what these creative folks will bring in 2016. And now for Combat Camera. Much like most of public affairs, the 1st Combat Camera Squadron at Charleston has seen an ops tempo increase, often exceeding 60% of airmen TDY a month, with more than 9,000 days TDY annually, amassing 700 flight hours during 25 deployments and exercises. They've also covered issues from the recent 1,000-year flood to the Charleston AME church shooting and supporting the POTUS, the Vice POTUS, and 26 CODEL visits, or congressional visits, to being the first combat camera team on the ground following the Nepal earthquake, to being an on-call CBRN response team for U.S. NORTHCOM. Our airmen are deployed everywhere around the globe, documenting the Air Force story, all while supporting Operations Enduring Freedom, Inherent Resolve, Freedom Sentinel, New Horizons. The 1st Combat Camera Squadron was named the 2015 Best DoD Combat Camera Team after besting 11 other 2-person joint teams by dominating a grueling week-long event that tested their mettle through marksmanship, photography and video, PT, doctrine, ruck march, close quarters battle, and sensitive site exploitation, and a leadership board presentation. Well done, 1st Combat Camera. Moving to the 3rd Combat Camera Squadron, Joint Base San Antonio Lackland's been very busy as well, providing outstanding support for the Air Force Sergeants Association Conference this year, featuring speeches by the Secretary of the Air Force, Chief of Staff of the Air Force, and the Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force. 3rd Combat Camera Squadron Airmen produced articles and photos and provided several news stories that were posted to DIVIDS reaching a potential audience of 38 million. The third also produced 5 Airmen Powered by Innovation API videos. The API program is a Vice Chief of Staff of the Air Force sponsored program and a top priority to capture innovative ideas from the field. The purpose of the video series is part of strategic messaging to our Headquarters Air Force and Secretariat leadership and the field to show successes with the program and encourage participation. Videos highlighted cost-saving programs to 450,000 airmen and civilians. I definitely recommend going to the API site and checking out the videos, especially the one that features meatloaf. I'm not sure I would eat meatloaf in the DFAC again, but it's a great video. It's well done. 3rd Combat Camera Squadron also accomplished a historical mark, establishing and integrating 40 IMAs from the deactivated 4th Combat Camera Squadron Reserve component. Squadron Airmen relocated more than $1 million of equipment from March Air Reserve Base to the 3rd Combat Camera Squadron. And for OLH at Hill Air Force Base, they completed 11 truck missions, live satellite feeds in 2015, to include 3 for the Secretary of the Air Force, 1 for the President, an F-35 rollout for ACC. Other customers included AFMC, Air Force Global Strike, AMC, the Academy graduation, and the U.S. Air Force Academy Band at Mount Rushmore, and the U.S. Navy. An additional Secretary of the Air Force transmission is scheduled for 8 December as part of the Secretary's online town hall. Remember, okay, let's hold for a second. I'm going to go back to that. Keep it rolling. 8 December, guys, is what I want you to pick up from this. Make sure that you're paying attention to the DMA coverage. The Secretary will be online. Be sure to tune in for that. She'll be taking questions from the field, and we want to hear from you. The unit is also working the strategic impact of Air Force Bands video. It's a compelling feature on the influence our musicians have on national and international relations. All totaled, our Premier Video Production Center created a total of 55 dynamic video productions supporting senior Air Force and DoD officials. Well done, and well done to all combat camera squadrons. Moving on to the bands, as I mentioned earlier, while the DoD 2016-17 engagement plan has been approved, the implementation guidance is currently in court. Overall, the latest plan reflects a modest increase in spending authorization for CONUS outreach. OCONUS bands will be authorized spending under the corresponding combatant commands outreach spending caps. For our overseas bands, make sure you're talking with your financial folks to make sure how much money you do have access to. Recently, the Air Force Academy Band performed 5 engagements in New Mexico on behalf of the 58th Special Operations Wing to help connect the military with the American public. The wing was struggling to maintain relationships with 3 local communities. Part of one community protested the Air Force's Forest Service permit to train on Forest Service land. After the concert, the city's leaders expressed support for the Air Force mission, and the wing had access to the necessary training site. Also, in a nearby community, the city's airfield manager was not supportive of the Air Force using the local airfield. After the Academy Band's concert, the DO from the Osprey Squadron was able to speak to the city manager, who indicated he would engage the airfield manager to open up the airfield for 58th SAL use. This is what I mean when I say influence. Our bands need to ask the question, what happened because we went in first? And then track the answer, making sure you're sharing those examples with us here at the Pentagon. Our musicians, while they're exceptional at their craft, their real purpose is to influence, inform, inspire, and honor, always leaving room for the ever-popular entertain. The 35B Career Field Education and Training Plan, our CFETP, we've just published that for the band officers in June of this year. The publication formalized training requirements for band officers for the first time and officially defines requirements for 35B1 entry level and 35B3 qualified level. The 3N1, 3N2 CFETP rewrite is almost done. This updated training plan will provide 774 enlisted airmen musicians, both active duty and guard, a career guide to training requirements for the different skill levels. As part of this updated CFETP, many collateral duty training tasks will only be required if the member is being assigned those specific duties. As mentioned earlier, we're working the production of a career field video showcasing the Air Force Band's mission and its impact across the globe. The video team from Hill captured footage from the PACAF's band's Singapore engagements, the USAFE band's Mauritania engagements, and the U.S. Air Force Academy band's 4th of July performance at Mount Rushmore. Most poignantly, the embassy officials interviewed by the AFPA team superbly articulate the impact Air Force bands are having across the globe on behalf of the United States. They captured a lot of great footage that we'll put to good use in a variety of products. When it goes live, we'll be sure to share the links. All right, are you still with me? I know that's a lot of information already, but we still have important work to discuss for just a few more minutes. For nearly 2 years now, you've had the chance to hear me talk about the future of public affairs and our culture as experts in the communication enterprise. You know I focus a lot on the strategic level of our work, that which requires a lot of research, planning, integration, and frankly, even a new vocabulary. I'm pleased to say, as I've seen a lot of this higher level thinking over the last year, both here inside the Beltway and throughout the field, there are a few holdouts still doing what I call classic PA, where we define ourselves and our mission, what we do, as media, ComRel, and internal. I would ask all of you to think about our mission very differently. Our mission as communicators is to understand and influence the information environment. We do that through platforms, much like the rest of the operational Air Force. And our platforms are the media, outreach engagements, and internal information tools. If you're still giving your new wing commander a briefing that starts with, "Here's what PA does for you," and you're only talking about your media, ComRel, and internal activities, please give your MAJCOM a call and ask for help. Your leadership deserves more, and your career field demands more. We need each of you able to articulate what public affairs really brings to the table. We're problem solvers, using the full spectrum of capabilities within the communication enterprise to inform, to influence, the outcome deliberately. So what does that really mean? I am not in any way devaluing the expertise that I need to have, that we need to have you doing in media, ComRel engagements, and internal work. That to me is the fundamental 101 foundation of what public affairs does for the United States Air Force. The next level, I believe, is talking and telling your Air Force story, talking about and telling your Air Force story. To me, that is that next step. The higher level discussion I'm asking everyone to get to is, why are we doing those first two things? Why bother? It is, we need to inform to influence. When I talk about strategic and deliberate planning, this is what I'm talking about. Every bit of what we do in media, ComRel, internal is vital to executing our mission, but that's the platform, that's the tool, that's what we put our work into to distribute the strategic level discussion. So I would ask that MAJCOMs please have this kind of conversation with everyone out in the field. When I say we need to up our game, and I know you've heard me say that, that's what I'm talking about. We need to come to the table with a higher level discussion, understanding fully what our expertise, what your expertise brings to the table in media, ComRel, internal platforms, but from an inform to influence, deliberate process. All right, so now let's talk about our strategy division here at the Pentagon. From a communication strategy, planning, and assessment perspective, our SAF PAX shop has put several new programs and processes into place that improve our ability to synchronize engagements, align messages, and amplify content. These efforts are not only designed to support work here at the headquarters, but also provide some level of planning guidance and resource support for the MAJCOMs and wings as well. We've completed the initial design and activation of our communication tracking and optimization calendar, simply called the CTO. And it's an information and analysis tool for planning and synchronizing communication efforts across the Air Force. As our primary data source, this tool feeds forward-looking plans and also supplies information to our weekly summary and assessment products. MAJCOMs are currently feeding information into the CTO for headquarters visibility, and will soon be offering webinar-style training to help MAJCOMs use the full suite of CTO capabilities for their own planning and integration efforts as well. Additionally, for MAJCOMs and Wings, you'll be able to create reports that you can share with your leadership that will illustrate the strategic influence through your deliberate planning efforts. Again, our work is about more than just counting the number of media events or the thousands of views or hits. It's about influencing outcomes. Hopefully, you've all seen our Air Force Communication Waypoints product. If not, this product, along with a host of other support tools, is available at Telling the Air Force Story SharePoint site, and you can check the slide to get the website there. Waypoints is designed to support top-level message synchronization on service-level issues. That's a mouthful. What that really means is if you're looking to understand the intent from the strategic level, that higher-level thinking, go to the waypoints. You will know what your senior leaders in the Air Force are thinking about those topics. 2 points I'd like to make about waypoints. First, we intend to formally update this document 3 times a year, with monthly changes to specific pages if needed. So please check the electronic version to ensure you have the most current product. Second, I want to remind you that this is a communication tool that is most effective in the hands of airmen who can put the information into context. In general, this is not a leave-behind product like Global Vigilance, Global Reach, and Global Power, or the Air Force Vision. All right, on surveys, we continue to roll out a series of surveys to our Internal Communication Assessment Group, or ICAG panel. And those results are available to help inform your communication planning activities. We're currently wrapping up the results of the survey on airmen's use of social media and should have that data available in the next few weeks. With regard to synchronized messaging, I'm really pleased to note that we've seen some great success with efforts to integrate planning activities and execution across the service. We had 3 MAJCOMs, ACC, AFSpace, and AFSOC, collaborate on our America's Airmen booth at AFA in September, and I think that effort really was a home run and something I'm sure we'll see continue next year. The Air Force Birthday Month provided an opportunity to communicate important messages about our history, heritage, and culture to both internal and external audiences, and we saw great results from that effort as well. This is an important part of our enduring requirement to educate and inform and ultimately influence audiences about what the Air Force is, what we stand for, and what we contribute to the nation. It's much more than just cutting a cake. Additionally, you should be seeing a variety of other synchronization efforts relevant to your work, including more focused and integrated commanders' call topics. And if you and your supported commanders are not subscribing to this service, I recommend you get that as well. You'll also see updated key talking points for specific issues and communication toolkits bringing various resources into one easy-to-use reference document for major initiatives, events, and observances. Our collective challenge is to expand this type of synchronized focus across other initiatives and priorities to derive similar results in support of issues ranging from budget priorities to readiness to modernization to airman resiliency to building the force of the future. And for those of you overseas, you know how important synchronizing your strategic messages on building partnerships and coalition efforts is, especially now with this current CENTCOM campaign. Understanding the information environment is critical, and we're the career field that gets paid to do just that. So I know that's a lot of information that we've just gone over, and a lot of big words and a lot of high-level thought. Again, I go back to, if anything didn't quite hit the mark for you, talk to your MAJCOM folks. Sit down and have a conversation. What I did today was really a good once around the world for our public affairs career field. A lot of topics to cover. I look forward to our Q&A session in the next version, and we'll fill in the blanks, hopefully, if I miss something, and answer your specific questions or concerns. Please do log on and let's have a conversation. I wish the Chief and I could get out to see all of you, but budgets and time don't allow that. So this webinar process is a way to at least keep you informed. Again, thanks for what you do every day, and remember, as we enter this holiday season, please take time to relax, hug your family and friends, and be thankful for each other. Ours is a tough business, but take a step back. I bet you'll realize you come back to work every day for the same reason I do. You really do love what you do and who you do it with. So how lucky are we? Thanks. We'll talk soon. Take care and be safe.